dedicate this session to my Guru Maharaj, and I hope this humble effort of mine pleases both Srila Prabhupada and my Guru Maharaj. So before proceeding, I would like to perform some pranam mantras. Those who know can repeat after me. Those who don't, try to listen very intently, because listening is also very, very purifying. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Gururo Shri Uta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanasute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prem Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurat Vishe Namah Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrind Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhite Giri Yat Kripatam Ham Vande Shri Gurum Dina Tarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Okay. So we'll start with the verse. The agenda will be, I'll try to discuss these two verses, and if time permits towards the end, we will also watch a 15 minutes short video, okay, because that is also important, but let's see, if time permits, only then. Please repeat after me. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshva Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagvatya Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Okay. So verse number 28 and 29. This particular session, I have just tried to change the format a little bit. Okay, we will not directly jump into the verses and start reading. We will first prepare some groundwork. Okay, whatever we have learned so far, we'll try to recapitulate, and from there we'll proceed on to the verses that are to be discussed. Okay. So first of all, we all know that this is Sunday feast. What are we doing here in the first place, right? I mean, it's a holiday season already. Sunday morning. We could have easily slept very nicely, right? Till 9:30, 10 o'clock, aram se utna tha. When the domestic help, rings the doorbell. At that time, we should have woken up. What is the need for, waking up in the Brahma Muhurta and taking a bath, doing the chanting, and then coming here in a satsang like this? What are we trying to do here, basically? Anyone?
Trying to re-establish relationship with the
Yes, that is one aspect, okay.
Trying to serve Krishna.
Serve Krishna, okay. More.
The detachment with material things.
Absolutely, yes.
trying to hear about Krishna.
Try to hear about Krishna. But where did this all start? What was that one question, which brought us here together at ISKCON? Okay, I'll help you with that. It all starts with this, okay? Who am I? Exactly. We'll come to that, Prabhu. So this who am I? This is a question. In a Linux system, if you type this command, it will return you the username, right, immediately. When my wife used to work in one of the renowned software companies, her username was Anun Mish. So one day I typed this command, who am I? It returned Anun Mish. From there on, for next 1 or 2 years, I used to call her Anunmish. Anunmish, please come here. Anunmish, please help me do this, like that. Okay. But coming to the question, okay, this is the one question which actually, has brought us here together. Okay, this is what we wanted to know, that who am I? So anyone can tell me that an answer to this question. Most of us have spent significant amount of time here at ISKCON, so we must be knowing this already. Yeah, you're a spirit soul. Very good. So, what is a spirit soul?
Part and parcel of Lord Krishna.
Part and parcel of Lord Krishna, right? Mamevamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Okay, very nice. So, once we know this thing, okay, that who am I, this concept is clear, then it brings us to the next question. Okay, what is the purpose of our life?
To serve Krishna.
Yes, to serve Krishna. So, one, is it just all about earning money, having a nice home, having a nice car, or all the material comforts of life, or does it have any higher purpose? Okay, so if we think logically, okay, it's not a very rocket science. Okay, like you just sit and think logically that from the material perspective. Okay, if we try to analyze, if we think that okay, why are we earning so much, or why are we running about all the material comforts? What do we do basically in our entire lifetime? Just take a lifetime of an average person, okay? They grow up a little bit, they start going to the school. In the school, they have to work very hard, okay? Because right from the beginning, the parents are, like pestering that, okay, padhoge nahi to fir kuch hoga nahi, you will not get a nice job, you will be struggling throughout your life, all those things. So in the student life, the person struggles very hard, okay? When they grow up a little bit, they run after, getting a nice job. Their entire life, goes in slogging, in the office, just to earn some money so that they get all the material comforts of life. Okay, and in spite of having all that, like in spite of having earned a lot of money, in spite of having a nice bank balance, in spite of having a nice home, in spite of having a nice luxurious car and all the material comforts of life, ultimately what happens? Okay, whether I am an Ambani or whether I am a Zomato delivery guy, okay, I'll meet with the same fate. Okay, I'll have to quit this body one day. Okay. And once we quit this body, are we going to take a single penny along with us? No. Everything will stay back. Okay? Maybe it will be distributed to our descendants, but it's going to stay here only. So just think logically, essentially what did we do? We didn't do anything at all. Right? We simply wasted our time here. इतना कुछ किया जब कुछ लेके नहीं जा रहे हैं, then it's all wastage of time. Right? So even if we think in this manner, the answer is pretty clear to us that there is some higher purpose to this life. Okay, and what is that higher purpose? We'll try to see. So this higher purpose brings us to the next important question, like who is God? Okay, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. That is what which has been mentioned in our scriptures. Okay. Am I audible? It's good now, right? Okay. So Athatu Brahma Jigyasa means inquiring about the Supreme. Who is God? Okay? And once we start asking that question, immediately like at ISKCON and in each and every single scripture, it is mentioned beyond doubt that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everything leads us to Krishna. Okay? So we are absolutely clear about that who is God? Ultimately Krishna. Okay? So once we know that who is God, then we have to establish these three things. Okay? First is the Sambandha, second is the Abhideya, and third is the Prayojana. Okay? What is Sambandha? To understand what is my relationship with God. Now that I know who God is, I know who Krishna is, right? What is my relationship with Him? The Vedic scriptures are very clear. Like they give a very detailed explanation about who is Krishna. Okay, who is Krishna? Where does he live? Okay, what is the name of his abode? Who are his parents? Who is his girlfriend? Right? What does he wear? How does he look like? How is the hair of Krishna? Okay, all these detailed descriptions are there. But now that we know that who is Krishna, next step is to know what is my relationship with him. Okay, that is known as the Sambandha or Sambandha Gyan. Okay. Second thing is Abhideya. That now, and in the Sambandha actually, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has already told us, right? Jiver Sharupa Krishner Nityadas. So that Sambandha is also clear now, that we are eternal loving servants of Krishna. Okay? So now we know the Sambandha. next important thing is, we know who is God, we know the relationship with God. The next important question is, what do I have to do in order to re-establish that relationship with God? Okay? So that is known as Abhinava. Okay? So in the material world, we have already forgotten our relationship with Krishna. Okay? The very fact, the very reason why we are here is because we forgot that sambandha. Right? So in order to re-establish that, we need to know the process, that what is that process through which we can re-establish that connection back with Krishna. Okay? So that is known as the Abhinava. Okay? And then what is the prayojan? What is the end result of all these things? Knowing the sambandha, doing all the practices which can reconnect us back to Krishna, Abhinava, right? What is the result? Net result of all that thing? That? Anyone? What will happen if we do all these things then?
Get back to home.
Yes, we will go back home, back to Krishna, right? We will attain love of God, correct? So, yeah, sorry. Yeah. So, these are the three things, okay? Who am I? What is the purpose of my life? And then who is God? What is my relationship with Him? How to re-establish that relationship? And what is the end result of that? Now, you people may say that, Prabhuji, आपने तो 3 स्लाइड में सब कुछ बता दिया, अभी क्या करें? Right? But the problem here is this part, okay? We know that what is the relationship with God, but what do we need to do in order to re-establish that? Most of the people are confused here, right? We people are very fortunate that we got the association of some devotees and through them we managed to come to ISKCON, okay? And here we read all these scriptures and we know now that, okay, it's absolutely black and white for us, right? But many people are actually confused at the second stage itself. They don't even know that what to do, okay? What is that process? How to, re-establish that connection with God, okay? And why is that? Can anyone recall why this confusion is there? If you can recall what was discussed in the last session, verse number 27. Yes, it's written right there. Okay. Please repeat after me. Rajastama prakritayah samashila bhajanti vai pitribhuta prajeshadim Shri Aishwarya Prajepsavaha. That means those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance worship those in the same category, namely the forefathers, other living beings, and the demigods who are in charge of cosmic activities. For they are urged by the desire to be materially benefited with women, wealth, power, and progeny. Okay? So this is the biggest problem of this particular age, that most of us are in this mode of passion and ignorance. Every living entity who is in this material world, they are inflicted by these 3 modes of material nature. Okay? And all these 3 modes are binding. Even the mode of goodness is binding. Okay? If we are in the mode of goodness, even then we will have to come back here in this material world to enjoy the fruits of those activities. Right? But those who are in the modes of ignorance and passion, right, they basically desire all these things which are mentioned here. Okay? To be materially benefited by women, wealth, power, and progeny. They are after this. 99% of the people in this age of Kali Yuga are in these 2 modes, okay, these lower modes of material nature. And this is what is causing the biggest hindrance, okay. Why only few people are sitting here? Why is not this hall, completely filled with devotees today? Right? Because very few people understand these things. Very few people try to understand this Athato Brahma Jigyasa. This is in very few people, right? So this is something which is causing the greatest hindrance, okay, in our path to progress or in order to perfect our life as human beings. Okay. So to attain the perfection of life, what needs to be done? Trigunatit ho jaiye. Okay, just rise above the 3 modes of material nature. Okay. But then how to rise above the 3 modes of material nature? That is another big problem. So in order to do that, see, we have 3 modes of material nature, Satogun, Rajogun and Tamogun, right? Mostly we are in Rajogun and Tamogun. So basically what we need to do, first step towards, this step to rise above the 3 modes of material nature is that we have to be primarily situated most of the times in the mode of goodness. Okay? We have to practice in such a way Okay, in our day-to-day lives, our each and every activity, our behavior with people, what we eat, what we wear, what we, every possible activity that we can think of, okay, that has to be in the mode of goodness, and this has to be deliberately practiced by each and every one of us. Okay, once we start doing that, once we start, practicing the mode of goodness, once we establish ourselves in this mode of goodness over a period of time, automatically what will happen? We'll rise above these three modes of material nature. We will slowly lose the taste in all the material activities. No one is going to force us to do anything. That inspiration will come from within, and slowly we will rise up the three modes of material nature, and that is when we can render pure devotional service unto Krishna. Always remember, like once we are performing any devotional service, still we have even slightest of attachment, okay, to enjoy any sense gratificatory thing. Okay, maybe we are attracted to the opposite gender, or maybe we are attracted to some other material things. That means our devotional service is not pure. Okay, even if there is a fraction of this desire left within us, okay, it has to be completely eradicated. Then and only then we can say that we are in the mode of pure devotional service, that we have transcended these three modes of material nature. Okay, so it's a task basically, but we should not give up. Okay. So this was the basic groundwork that we prepared for the upcoming shlokas. Okay, so now we will come to the actual shloka. Okay, please repeat after me. Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramakha, Vasudeva Parayoga, Vasudeva Parakriya, Vasudeva Param Jnanam, Vasudeva Param Tapah, Vasudeva Paro Dharmo, Vasudeva Paragatihi. Anyone would like to read? It's an easy shloka.
Which one?
Anyone, English or Hindi, not the translation, the shloka.
Okay.
Would like to recite?
I try.
Yes, please, Mataji.
Vasudeva Paraveda,
Vasudeva Paraveda,
Vasudeva Paramakhya,
Vasudeva Paramakha,
Vasudeva Parayoga,
Vasudeva Parayoga,
Vasudeva Parakirya,
Vasudeva Parakriya,
Vasudeva Param Jnanam,
Vasudeva Param Jnanam, Vasudeva Param
Vasudeva Param Tapa,
Tapah,
Vasudeva Paro Dharma,
Vasudeva Paro Dharmo,
Vasudeva Paragati,
Vasudeva Param Gatim. Anyone else? Who is? Yes, please go ahead.
Vasudeva Paraveda,
Vasudeva Paraveda,
Vasudeva Paramakha,
Vasudeva Paramakha,
Vasudeva Parayoga,
Vasudeva Parayoga,
Vasudeva Parakriya,
Vasudeva Parakriya,
Vasudeva Param Jnanam,
Vasudeva Param Jnanam,
Vasudeva Param Tapah,
Vasudeva Param Tapah,
Vasudeva Paro Dharmo,
Vasudeva Paro Dharmo,
Vasudeva Paragatihi,
Vasudeva Paragati. Okay, the translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. In the revealed scriptures, the ultimate object of knowledge is Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. The purpose of performing sacrifice is to please Him. Yoga is for realizing Him. All fructive activities are ultimately rewarded by Him only. He is the supreme knowledge, and all severe austerities are performed to know Him. Religion or dharma is rendered loving service unto Him. It is the supreme goal of life. Okay? So what is the supreme goal of life has been clearly explained here. Okay? And important thing is that we are here reading about three things. One is the object of knowledge. Okay? Second is the sacrifices or the yajna. Okay? Third is yoga. Okay? And finally is the severe austerities. We will see all these four things one by one in detail. Okay? But this is the essence of all the Vedic scriptures. All the Vedas ultimately basically is saying that, okay, Vasudev Sarvamiti Mahatma Sudurlabha. Okay, this is what in the Bhagavad Gita also it is mentioned. Okay, Bahunam Janmanamante Gyanvan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So all the people who are sitting here who have genuinely surrendered unto Krishna, okay, honestly thinking Him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead without any dualities in mind, okay, that अगर मैं इनकी पूजा करूंगा तो बाकी देवी देवता कहीं नाराज तो नहीं हो जाएंगे मेरे से, right? Without that kind of a thought process, okay, if we have genuinely surrendered unto Him, then such people are actual Mahatmas of Kali Yuga, and my humble obeisances to such people. Okay, all glories to them. Okay, so we will first read the purport and then we'll move to the next slide. So the purport is slightly long. We'll just have some patience and then we'll read. Okay. Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, is the only object of worship. Is confirmed in these two shlokas. In the Vedic literature, there is the same objective, establishing one's relationship and ultimately reviving our lost loving service unto Him. That is the sum and substance of the Vedas. In the Bhagavad Gita, the same theory is confirmed by the Lord. Thank you so much for that. All the revealed scriptures are prepared by the Lord through His incarnation in the body of Srila Vyasadeva, just to remind the fallen souls, fallen conditioned souls by material nature of Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. No demigod can award freedom from the material bondage. That is the verdict of the Vedic literatures. Impersonalists who have no information of the personality of Godhead minimize the omnipotency of the Lord, of the Supreme Lord, and put Him on equal footing with all the other living beings. And for this, such impersonalists great freedom from material bondage only with great difficulty. They can surrender unto Him only after many, many births and the culture of transcendental knowledge. One may argue that Vedic activities are based on the sacrificial ceremonies. That is true, but all such sacrifices are also meant for realizing the supreme truth about Vasudeva. Another name of Vasudeva is Yajna. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that all the sacrifices of all the activities are to be conducted for the satisfaction of Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. This is the case also with the yoga systems, and this is also for the culture of knowledge. According to the Bhagavad Gita, there are 18 items in culturing knowledge. We will see these 18 items, okay? And by the culture of knowledge, one becomes gradually prideless, devoid of vanity, non-violent, forbearing, and simple, devoted to the great spiritual master and self-control. By the culture of knowledge, one becomes unattached to the hearth and home, and becomes conscious of the miseries of life, death, rebirth, and old age. All the cultures of knowledge culminates in the devotional service of the personality of Godhead Vasudeva. Therefore, Vasudeva is the ultimate aim in culturing all the different branches of knowledge. Culture of knowledge leading one to the transcendental plane of meeting Vasudeva is the real knowledge. Physical knowledge in its various branches is condemned in the Bhagavad Gita as ajnana, or opposite to real knowledge. The ultimate aim of physical knowledge is to satisfy the senses, which means prolongation of the term of material existence, and thereby continuing the threefold of miseries. So, the prolonging the miserable life of material existence is nescience. But the same physical knowledge leading to the way of spiritual understanding helps one to end the miserable life of physical existence and to begin the life of spiritual existence on the plane of Vasudeva. Okay? So, this is the, just a second. Yes. So, basically, this is the summarization of the purport. I have not read the full purport. You all can go back home and try to give it a reading. But basically, we'll try to see, okay, what it all discusses. So the ultimate goal. So as we have seen, in this particular verse, that the purpose of all the Vedas is to understand Krishna. Okay, and Krishna himself confirms this in the Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, 15th verse. Okay, Vedascha sarvair aham ev vedyo vedanta kritved videvachaham. From all the Vedas, I am to be known. Okay, he is declaring. Indeed, I am the compiler of the Vedanta and the Vedas. And I am the knower of all the Vedas. Okay, Krishna is confirming this. And one very important thing which Srila Prabhupada mentioned in this purport is that most of us fail to realize that no demigod can provide freedom from the material bondage. Okay, generally there is a mass misconception among the people. Okay, that it doesn't matter that whom do we worship. Okay, the end result is going to be the same. Okay, this is the biggest misconception that we have. Okay, like freedom from this material bondage can be provided only by Lord Sri Krishna or Vishnu. Okay, no other demigod can provide you that. At max, what they can do, they can bring you on this path of Krishna consciousness. Okay, so but they cannot provide you the liberation. Some people may argue, it is mentioned in the Shastras also that Lord Shiva can provide us liberation. Yes, indeed, he can do that, right? But there is a restriction with Lord Shiva. We'll try to understand that. So you see, this material world is just like a prison house. Okay, we are made captive here basically because we tried to revolt against Krishna. Okay, we basically became envious of Krishna. So now Lord Shiva has this key to the door of this material world. Okay, he can open this door and he can let us out of this material world. Okay, he can provide us liberation in that way. But once you step out of this material world, what will happen? You will enter the spiritual world. But the problem is that Lord Shiva doesn't have the key to any of the Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual world. So यहाँ से निकाल तो सकते हैं, वहाँ पे किसी Vaikuntha planet में he cannot give you the entry. Okay, that key is only with Lord Sri Krishna or Vishnu. So ultimately, what happens? The fate of most of the impersonalists, okay, who think that God is formless or God is nothing but a Jyoti, Brahma Jyoti, like that. Okay, they ultimately merge in the spiritual effulgence, basically. Okay. And this is how, they get liberated. They think, okay, they are liberated. But then they are floating around in the Brahma Jyoti only. Okay. Some of them might be very fortunate that Lord Shiva, sometimes what happens, he goes and then brings some of those floating entities, okay, to his own abode. Okay. Because the reason why they are floating there in the Brahma Jyoti is because they do not have that aspect of devotion within them. Okay. They are jnanis and yogis basically, but they are not devotees. Okay. So Lord Shiva, reclaims some of them. He brings him to his own loka, the Kailash, okay, and there, waहीं पे, he gives him the training on all the devotional services. सारा भक्ति शास्त्री, भक्ति वैभव, भक्ति वेदांत, सारा course वहाँ करा देते हैं. Once that that spirit soul is ready, to take the next step, from there he or she can enter into the Vaikuntha planets. Okay, but this is not the case with all of them. Okay, majority of them, they just keep floating in the Brahma Jyoti, right? So the problem here is that a spirit soul by nature, is very happy, very blissful, and secondly, it's very, very active. It cannot sit idle. First problem is that we are put in this material world. So it is very against this blissful nature. Okay, this place is a dukhalyam and we are blissful by default. So obviously we'll struggle here. So that is the first struggle. Second is that we are very active by nature. Okay, that we need some engagement or the other. Just remember what happened during the COVID times. Okay, lockdown was there. Immediately after 2 weeks, we became so restless. We just wanted to get out. In fact, in some of the countries, people actually stepped out of the house. That okay, we will not follow this, lockdown and all this nonsense. Okay, we want to party, right? So this is our eternal nature. It is our intrinsic nature, basically. Okay. So even when we are in the Brahma Jyoti floating around, what will happen? We will be looking for some engagement or the other. And once we don't get it there, then what happens? We will be getting bored again. यार इससे अच्छा तो नीचे ही थे. At least कुछ तो था वहाँ करने के लिए. So we are just sitting like this idle. So what happens? The spirit souls, they fall down again back from the Brahma Jyoti. And for devotees, attaining the Brahma Jyoti is worse than attaining hell. Okay, in hellish planetary system, I have repeatedly said this, that there is Yamraj, who is one of the 12 Mahajans. Okay, we can sit there, we can chant Hare Krishna with him. Okay, but in Brahma Jyoti, there is no possibility of any devotional service, and so the devotees, they simply undermine that. They just don't take that, Brahma Jyoti liberation. Okay, we have to do some service. If you are not getting entry in any of the Vaikuntha planets, fine, we'll stay here in this material world, but we need some devotional engagements. Okay, that is the core concept. Okay, so impersonalists, they realize this over many, many lifetimes. Okay, that's why it is said Bahunam Janmanavante. After many, many lifetimes, once a spirit soul goes through that grinding, okay, then they come to this realization that okay, Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Okay, that Krishna is the ultimate cause of all causes. Right? So this is our ultimate goal, to break this cycle of life, death and rebirth, and even once we are liberated, we have to hanker for that devotional service. Okay, even in Vaikuntha planet we will be hankering for that devotional service. A devotee, if he doesn't get any devotional service, they will simply not accept the liberation at all. They would rather stay here in this material world and carry out their services here. Okay. So the first thing that we saw, yajna, or the sacrifices, they are also targeted at satisfying Krishna or Vishnu, right? In the 5th chapter, 59th verse of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself again explains here, Bhoktaram yagatapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suhridam sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shantim richati. Okay? That I am the enjoyer of all the sacrifices and penance. Okay? Krishna is confirming this. Okay? And in the purport also we saw that another name of Vasudeva is Yajna. Okay? So all the Yajnas have to be aimed at satisfaction of Krishna or Vishnu. Right? And a very nice example, we see in the Mahabharata itself, right? After the Kurukshetra war, obviously Maharaj Yudhishthir was a very, a dharmatma kind of a personality, right? His name was Dharmaraj, basically, right? So he was very, bogged down by this guilt after that bloodshed that happened in the Kurukshetra war, right? So he wanted to get away with, all these, this burden of killing and everything, and he decided to perform an Ashwamedha Yajna. Okay, and because he was so humble, and in spite of the fact that he was elder to Lord Krishna in age, when Krishna was here, but still he understood that he is the Vasudeva, and he took his advice basically. Okay, that how do I perform this Ashwamedha Yajna? Okay. And then again, just as Krishna had become the charioteer of Arjuna, similarly Krishna took this responsibility of ensuring that this Ashwamedha Yajna is, performed in the most best possible way as possible. Okay, and mind you, these things were very costly affairs at that time. Okay, it was not in the capability of normal people or an average person like us to perform any Ashwamedha Yajna or any Yajna for that matter. It had to be done by some kings because they had that kind of opulence through which they can do such, opulent arrangements basically, right? And Krishna personally ensured that, Maharaj Yudhishthir is actually, arranging for each and every material, all the learned Brahmanas are there to perform that. At each and every step, he personally used to guide him, okay, that, okay, this is what you have to do, this is what you should avoid, and you should be careful of this and that, and personally, right? Why? Because through that behavior also, Krishna is actually giving, one message that, okay, everything has to be done for the satisfaction of Krishna or Vishnu. Okay? And another thing that he says in this particular verse, that Suhridam Sarva Bhutana. So another reason why Krishna was so much interested and, was very much attentive to how this Ashwamedha Yajna is basically being carried out, because he is the Suhrid, or he is the eternal well-wisher and a friend of each and every living entity, right? See, we will quit this body, we will take another body, okay? Our families will change, our relatives will change, we will not even remember, our parents of this lifetime, our spouses of this lifetime, okay? It has to keep on changing, okay? From one body to another, just transmigration of soul, that keeps on happening, and everything changes, okay? And mind you, we may not be taking the body of a human being in the next life, okay? But there is one thing which is going to remain constant in each and every single lifetime, and that is Krishna within our hearts, okay? He is always there. Even if our karma is so bad that we are, born as a lizard or a cockroach, still Krishna will not leave our side. Okay, he will be there in our heart, guiding, that guiding light. Just like that guiding light, he will be there. So that ultimately, in any of the lifetime, one day we will realize that, that lost relationship is there, and we will try to re-establish that lost relationship. Okay, so yajna should always be performed for the satisfaction of Krishna or Vishnu. Second is yoga. Okay. So we saw in the purport that yoga means to get in touch with the Supreme Lord Krishna. Okay. And generally what the yogis do, they perform the Ashtanga yoga system. Okay. So Dhyana yoga or Ashtanga yoga, it has 8 limbs. Okay. Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi. Okay. These are the 8 limbs. But the problem with this is that, okay, you will realize this, like if it is successful, it is pretty good, and it helps one to realize the Paramatma aspect of Shri Krishna. I think I have spoken a lot in the previous session about the 3 aspects in which you can realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's the personal Brahma Jyoti, Paramatma and Bhagwan. Okay? So Paramatma is that localized form of Vasudeva, the 400 form of Vasudeva, which is there in the hearts of every living entity. Okay? And in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it is given very nicely, the detailed description that he is of the size of the thumb, okay, of 4 inches or 6 inches, some dimension is also given, okay, that people who realize that, they constantly see, that form of Vasudeva within themselves, okay, and they experience eternal bliss, that bliss is actually beyond description. This very Paramatma actually saved Maharaj Parikshit from the Brahmastra, when he was in the womb of Uttara, okay. And Lord Shiva is also meditating upon this Paramatma aspect only. That is the reason why he is so blissful that he is always, most of the times you will see he is absorbed in meditative posture only. Right? He is continuously seeing this Paramatma within his heart. Okay? So it helps to realize the Paramatma aspect. But the problem with this system is that it is very, very difficult to execute, especially in this age of Kali Yuga. Okay? And Krishna is known as the Yogeshwar. Okay? So this yoga should always also be, it should be done for his satisfaction and for his realization. Okay? Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruvanitir Matirmama. Right? That means Krishna is the Yogeshwar, he is the Ishwar, or he is the controller of all the yogic processes. Okay? But the problem with this Dhyana Yoga is that it is very difficult to perform in this age of Kali Yuga. Okay? Why? First, our lifespan is very small. Okay, the maximum lifespan prescribed for this age of Kali Yuga is 100 years. That too we hardly reach. Okay, 65, 75, that's the max. Okay, life expectancy. Okay. Second, the attention span in this age of Kali Yuga, it has been scientifically proven it's not more than 10 minutes. Okay. You people are sitting here patiently for last, 45 minutes, that's a big achievement. Right? But it's not more than 10 minutes, although I see some people are sleeping, but right? But that happens, and that's understandable. Okay, it's very difficult in this age of Kali Yuga, and the most difficult aspect is the first 2 stages, the Yam and Niyam. Okay, the do's and don'ts, which actually requires an individual or the practitioner of this Jnana Yoga to follow complete celibacy for 12 years in a secluded, sanctified place. First of all, where will you find a secluded place in this age? Everything is being taken up by the builders and all the real estate people, right? And immediately they will take up any empty land, okay? Secondly, even if you find some land, there is no sanctification. It's not a pavitra place, right? All kind of dirt and everything is in Kali Yuga, it's not possible. And at that place, even if you manage to find that place, you have to follow complete celibacy for 12 years. Complete celibacy means that you are not supposed to even think about opposite gender. How many of you can do that for 12 years? Tell me. No one, right? So it's very difficult to practice that. So पहला ही 2 level पे तो fail कर जाएंगे. What to speak about the next 6, and realizing of the Paramatma aspect, right? It's not possible at all, correct? So Dhyana Yoga is very, very difficult in this age of Kali Yuga. That therefore, for Kali Yuga, the only thing which is prescribed is what is prescribed? Bhakti Yoga and the chanting, Hari Nam Sankirtan. Yes, Hari Nam Sankirtan. Because Krishna also knew इनसे नहीं हो पाएगा. Like they are very fallen. Okay, 10 मिनट से ज़्यादा कर ही नहीं सकते हैं. तो चलो 2 माला भी कर ले बहुत है. Okay. And another problem of this Dhyan Yoga is that the yogis, once you start practicing this Dhyan Yoga, your Kundalinis actually, they start, getting opened up. Okay. So once that happens, all the siddhis will naturally come to you. Okay. There are 8 types of siddhis which are described in the Shastras. Okay. You can become lighter than feather. Okay. You can create a new planet altogether. Okay. You can become heavier than the heaviest object. You can become huge, like Lord Hanuman used to do. He is the provider of Ashtasiddhi, right? You can become very small, tiny. You can go through any cracks and walls, like that. Okay. So these are some of the siddhis that automatically come when a person starts practicing the Dhyana Yoga. But these siddhis are the biggest distraction or the roadblocks on the path of a yogi. Okay, because it gives you so much that immediately you get carried away by these powers. And then what happens? That the yogi starts showing off these powers to the general masses for cheap adoration. Okay, that people will start respecting him, people will start worshipping him, he will gain more followers. And then what happens? He falls down from that position. That Paramatma realization never happens and he falls down from that position. Okay. However, the unsuccessful yogis are given another chance. Okay, that if you are unsuccessful, what will happen? That Krishna will give you a birth in a nice aristocratic family in the next lifetime, or in a family of a brahmana, basically, so that you can reestablish. You can start off again from the point where you left off. But a big question is, is it worth taking that risk? Should we take that risk of leaving it to the next lifetime and realizing ठीक है आज 50% कर लेते हैं, 51% next lifetime में देखेंगे? Yes or no? Why?
We don't know. Next generation, what we can learn.
What?
Next generation, we don't know.
What do you don't know for next lifetime?
I know, we don't know.
No, Krishna has said in the Bhagavad. Yes, that is one thing. But Krishna has said that if you leave it from, say, if you practice, say, 3% or 12% maybe, then from 13% you will start from the next lifetime. So what is the difficulty there?
But we can fall back.
You
We
will
can
forget
start
Krishna.
there, but we can fall backwards because of Maya.
Prabhuji, what are you saying?
You will forget Krishna.
Yes, there is no guarantee because of the influence. See, Maya is very strong. Okay, and I'll try to explain with an example. It's an interesting thing. Okay, let's see. Say, for example, you perform very bad activities. Okay, bad actions in this lifetime. What will happen? You will go to the hellish planetary system. So basically, bad actions or bad deeds are like poison. Okay, why? Because they lead you to hell. Correct? Agreed? Similarly, pious deeds, they lead you to heaven, okay, heavenly planets. So, is the pious deeds poison or a nectar? Nectar. Anyone else? Actually, it is a sugar-coated poison. Why? Because ultimately, it will lead you to hell. How? I will explain. See, when you do some pious deeds, what will happen? You will be sent, after quitting this body, you will go to heavenly planetary system. Okay, you will do must full enjoyment over there. Okay, once your credit, pious credit is exhausted, you will send back here again. And as it is said that all the unsuccessful yogis, they will take birth in high aristocratic family. Okay, high aristocratic family means that you will have a lot of money. You will have a good either you will have a good education or you will have a very nice physical appearance. Okay, and you will be very popular among the masses. Now just imagine a person who has all these things. What is the probability that he or she will be a devotee of Krishna? You see all the film stars, right? Or the celebrities. How many of you can say that, okay, this particular celebrity or this particular film star is a genuine devotee of Krishna? It's very difficult to practice Krishna consciousness once you have these abundance and opulence in the life. Okay? So now that today that you have this chance, you are here sitting in this Kannamangala Bhakti Center practicing Krishna consciousness, then utilize this lifetime. Do not delay it. Go back home and don't come back here again. Okay? So this is one thing which we need to understand very clearly. Okay? That good deeds are also binding and bad deeds, well, we don't need to even speak about that. Okay? There is a nice elaborate description of different types of hellish planetary systems in the 5th canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Yeah. If you are interested, you can go and read it. I don't want to describe that. Okay? Now comes the knowledge. How much time do we have? Okay, we have some time. That's fine. Maybe we'll skip the video. I don't know. Let's see. So knowledge is, according to the Bhagavad Gita, there are 18 items which constitute real knowledge or true knowledge. Okay, we'll see all 18 of this. First one is humility. Okay, that is not being anxious for honor due respect from others. Unfortunately, we all are hankering for that. You know? Once we enter our society, the security guard ne salam nahi thoka. How rude that person is, right? I am the resident here. Okay, I am driving a nice car and he is not giving me a proper respect, right? Second, Pridelessness, okay? Not thinking oneself to be learned and wise. See, the biggest example, we all are actually inflicted by this thing, okay? ठीक है, सामने वाला जो होगा होगा, I am also not less than an Albert Einstein, right? And the biggest example is the reels and the Instagram shorts and reels that you see today, right? You will see that some person who is actually talented, okay, they'll play the keyboard very nicely, some nice Bollywood song they'll play on the keyboard. उसको देख के what will happen, we'll also get inspiration. ठीक है, उसने किया तो क्या हुआ, I can also do that. And in that, what to say, just in order to prove ourselves, what we do, we go to the market, we buy a nice keyboard, spend 20,000-30,000 like that, okay? And then after 1 week, we try to play and then we give up. कि बस नहीं ना हो पाएगा मेरे से, right? So this is what it's talking about, okay? We have that lot of pride, okay? सामने वाला कर रहा है, then I should be also able to do that, okay? I am also no less than, a big personality. So this thing we have to take care. We should give up this kind of, pride that we have in ourselves, okay? Then non-violence, not inflicting pain on any living being. Now this does not only refer to any physical pain or physical violence that we are committing against any living entity, okay? Violence, for example, can be in a very subtle way also. As an example, what I can say is that, say for example, this is a Kannamangala center, okay? Every person is entitled to come here, okay? It's their right to come here and attend a satsang like this, okay? Irrespective of their birth, irrespective of their caste, irrespective of their nationality, on any discrimination whatsoever, we should not be discriminating any individual, okay, on these basis. It's their birthright to come here, sit here and attend a satsang like this, okay? But if suppose I stand at the door and start preventing some people from coming in, okay, that, okay, you are not an Indian, so you are not allowed to come in, okay, or you are not maybe, a follower of Sanatan Dharma, so you should not be entering here, okay? What I am doing, I am depriving them of their basic rights, basically, right? So that is also a violence against that, okay? It's a subtle form of violence, but it is also considered as a violence, okay? So we have to be mindful of that. Next is tolerance, okay? Bearing insult and dishonor patiently, okay? Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi shahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari, right? This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in the Shikshastakam, right? That we should be as humble as a blade of grass and as tolerant as a tree, okay? We should try to give respect even to those people who are disrespecting us, okay? So this is the meaning of tolerance. Simplicity, living without material possessions. Now, without material possessions, thoda zyada ho gaya, right? It's not possible. So, something we have to keep, but we will have to have a minimalist approach. Okay, that just take what we need. Okay, what is necessary, not what we want. I will just try to explain. This is one incident which I recall. It's one of my friends actually. He bought a very nice refrigerator, okay, and unfortunately the piece which was delivered to him was faulty, okay, and that guy was absolutely paranoid, once he received that. He immediately was asking that, okay, that was that refrigerator belonged to a very high brand actually, so he kept on ki, तुम्हारे पास इसका TV था, you tell me, okay, what is the customer care number and this and that, and I asked him, okay, ठीक है, खराब है, I know, I understand you are upset, but then why are you so hyper? So, no, you come to my place, I'll explain everything and everything. So I went to his place. भाई साहब उसने 2.5 लाख का फ्रिज खरीदा था, right? 2.5 लाख का फ्रिज, and that was huge. Okay, like one wall it was covering, like that. Okay, and I said, you are a big duffer, dude. Like you are just 3 people staying here in this flat. You, your wife, and your kid. Why do you need such a big refrigerator? Just and more than giving you any comfort, this is giving you more anxiety, right? So this is what we should try to avoid. Okay, understand what are your requirements. ठीक है, whatever your finances or your financial condition permits, to a certain extent utilize them. Okay, but do not overspend. Like this. I mean, this is totally what to say. It's I was actually shocked. After seeing that, just for 3 people. I mean, this is not a very intelligent investment. Okay. Then third is approaching a bona fide spiritual master. Okay, now these days you are seeing a lot of reels are being very popular. Okay, a kid is being trolled like anything for performing bhakti. I am not going to take any names here. Okay, but we have seen. So, Shri Gandharvika Giridhari Shriman Mahaprabhu ki Jai. Okay, so a bona fide spiritual master, how do we understand that who is the right guru? Okay, a true spiritual master. Okay, so we have to see a few things, a few qualities in guru basically, and if that person exhibits all these qualities, then we can rest assured that this person is a genuine person. One, that a guru should be well versed in all the Vedic literatures. Okay, they should give you references from the Shastras when you ask any questions, and they are very comfortable with that. Secondly, they should know the science of loving Krishna. Okay, and they should be able to make you a devotee of Krishna. Okay. Third, by their example, their own example, okay, they should be following all the 4 regulative principles, and then they should be inspiring you to do the same. Okay, Srila Prabhupada used to do that. The one distinguishing factor of Srila Prabhupada and his other contemporaries, if you can ask any disciple of Srila Prabhupada, was that there is no difference between what Swamiji does and what Swamiji preaches. Okay, so that has to be done. And apart from that, if you want, there are 5 type of urges, which a person has to control before they can be called as a guru. Okay, Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jivha Vegam, Udaropastha Vegam, Etan Veganyo Visheheta Dhira, Sarvapimam Prithvim Sasishya. Vacho Vegam means that person has a control on what he speaks. Okay, that is the most important thing. Okay, Manasa, that person has a control on his mind. Krodha Vegam, okay, that means he is able to control the anger. Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jivha Vegam, okay, he has a control on tongue, doesn't go around eating, whatever he wants, right? So that exercise has to be there, okay. Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jivha Vegam, Udaropastha Vegam, he has the control on the genitals, sexual urges, okay. If anyone is exhibiting these 5 traits, that they have control over these 5 urges, trust me, that person is good enough to make disciples all over the world. Okay, that is clear statement of the Shastras. Okay, so this is the identity of a real, true bona fide spiritual master. Okay, so whenever you are looking for a guru, just please ensure that you look for these qualities. Okay, cleanliness. Previously in India, people used to take bath 3 times a day. Okay, in the morning, then before lunch, and in the evening. Slowly what happened? Western culture crept in, right? And these days, like some people, they don't even bath for 2 or 3 days, right? So I don't need to, make any more further statements. But yes, try to take bath at least twice a day, okay? If you do not have any severe health issues, okay? So this is about cleanliness, and also second is this is about the external cleanliness. Internal cleanliness is the the 4th regulative principle of no illicit sex, that which we follow here. Okay, that means any form of illicit sex is making you, dirty from within. Okay, it's making you unclean from within. So we have to be very careful of not indulging in any illicit activities like that. Okay, so this is about cleanliness. Then steadfastness, being fixed in one's determination. So we have to be very determined that we practice our sadhana very nicely each and every day. Every day wake up in Brahma Muhurta, no matter what, okay? Chant most number of rounds in the morning, okay? And be very, very, determined to follow this day in and day out. Okay, no matter what happens, if it's raining, no problems. If it's, especially in the winter season, it is really difficult to wake up in the morning. But just, control yourself, okay, tell yourself that, okay, this is just a tapasya that I am doing for the happiness of Krishna, okay? And convince yourself and wake up each and every, have a very strong sadhana routine every day, okay? That is the steadfastness. Only then we will be able to make any progress, okay? Then self-control, okay? Controlling the mind and the senses. Just like we follow the Ekadashi Vrata every day, try to follow the Vrata from your smartphones, okay? Don't touch the smartphones for an entire day, or maybe schedule a time slot, okay? That only in the evening from this period to this period I will be using my smartphone just to check some WhatsApp messages or my emails. Otherwise, try to give up, cut down on the time that you spend on the social media, or if possible, try to give it up completely, okay? Because social media is something which is actually killing us from inside. Third is renunciation, renouncing the fruits of one's actions. Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. Right? This is the verdict of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay? A spirit soul bewildered by his false ego thinks himself to be the doer of all activities which are in fact carried out by the three modes of material nature. In the last session also, we learned that what is the most difficult thing to do? The most difficult thing to do is to believe that whatever activities we are doing is actually not being done by us. Correct? So, this is something which we have to understand. Okay? Renouncing the fruits of our actions. Work as if everything depends upon you, but once it comes to the results, just offer it to Krishna. Okay? I am not responsible for that. He gave me the inspiration, He gave me the power to do this. Simple. Okay? So, that is the renunciation of the fruits of action. Absence of false ego. What is false ego?
I am this body.
Exactly. I am Snehadeep, right? I am Abhinava Gauranga Das, like that. And once this false ego creeps in, what happens? Immediately, all your extended relationships will come in. Okay, my wife, my house, my car, my this, my that, everything. Okay, and then attachment will be there, right? But if we are situated in the true ego, that I am a spirit soul, I am a part and parcel of Krishna, I am eternal loving servant of Krishna, right? Then problem is solved, right? So absence of false ego is real knowledge. Participation of the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age and disease. Right? No one wants to take birth, but they are forcibly, by the laws of material nature, they are forcibly made to take birth in this material world. Right? No one, when person takes birth, okay, they finally adjust here, they make very nice arrangements over here, and no one wants to die after that, right? But a time will come when you will have to quit this body. Forcibly you will be made to, quit. Mrityu sarvaharasya. People who are too attached, for them Krishna will appear as death, all devouring death, and take away everything, every belonging which is there. Correct? And then old age. No one wants to be old. Right? I have a set of friends, in my circle. Unki jawani nahi chhoot rahi hai maybe. This thing also, right? So, right, no one wants to get old, but material nature, laws of material nature are such that we will grow old. And similarly, no one wants to fall sick, but we have to fall sick. So these are the true miseries. Okay, these are the true the questions which we should be asking. To ask how to get rid of these four things. Unfortunately, none of the educational system in the world basically discusses these four aspects. Correct? So we have to realize this thing. We have to have this perception. Okay, that these things are evil. How to get rid of them? Okay. Then non-attachment. Okay, not being attached to any material possessions. Okay, just like Ambrish Maharaj, right? He was a very nice king, very opulent king. Okay, but everything he was simply using in the service of Krishna. He never thought that okay, he is the owner or he is the supervisor of all the opulence that was there. Okay, so that is the non-attachment. Even-mindedness among the pleasant and unpleasant events. Okay, matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkada agama payano anityas tam stitikshasva bharata. Right? That just like appearance and disappearance of summer and winter season, the appearance of happiness and distress are also temporary. Okay, one just needs to learn to tolerate this temporary appearance and disappearance of happiness and distress. Okay, once we start doing that, we will be equipoised towards any situation in life. It all requires a little bit of practice, actually. Okay, constant and unalloyed devotion to God. Okay, to Sri Krishna, basically. Just like Ambrish Maharaj, he used all his senses. Okay, in the service of Sri Krishna. Okay, then resorting to solitary places. Try to spend some time alone, especially when you are doing sadhana. Okay, don't try to chant along with your mobile phone. या चैंटिंग करते करते बाहर झांक रहे हैं खिड़की से, नीचे स्विमिंग पूल में वहाँ पार्टी चल रहा है क्या, ऐसा. प्लीज डोंट डू दैट. ओके, try to be alone. Okay, at least during that time when you are chanting. Okay, after that you can engage. I mean, it's not advisable to lock yourself in a room and then you say that okay, I am just trying to avoid all the association of people. So that is not recommended. Okay, but at least while chanting we should be solitary. Okay, detachment from the general mass of people. Okay, so detachment means that just have a cut-to-cut interaction with materialistic-minded people. Okay, बस जहाँ तक necessary है, only that much I will do. Otherwise, I'll just be myself. Okay, rather I would spend some time with the devotees. Okay, instead of material-minded people. So that is the detachment from the general masses. And then consistency in spiritual knowledge. Read, and read. Read the books of Srila Prabhupada. That is the only thing which will keep you fixed up in Krishna consciousness. If you are not reading, then you are missing out on something big. It is very, very difficult to make any spiritual progress. Okay, if you are not reading. So, we have to be. Then tapasya. That is the last aspect. Okay, that so we have seen that the yagyas should be done for the service of Krishna. It should be offered to Krishna. The knowledge should be offered to Krishna. Okay, now we are seeing tapasya. Tapasya means voluntary acceptance of bodily pains to achieve some higher end of life. Okay, and two examples are Ravan and Hiranyakashipu. Okay, they both were very knowledgeable people. Okay, and they did a kind of austerity which is simply not unimaginable by any human beings. Okay, of any standard. They were very powerful people. Okay, and Hiranyakashipu in particular, when he was performing the austerity, the ants and termites, they actually built that their own, on his entire body. Half of his body, the flesh was eaten up by the ants and termites. Okay, but such was his control on the pranavayu that even in that situation he was just controlling his pranavayu within himself, and then he was performing that austerity to an extent that fire started coming out of the head, and that fire was so intense that it was actually raising the temperature of even the higher planetary systems. Okay. When Lord Shiva actually saw this and Lord Vishnu saw this, they told Lord Brahma, "Yaar, jaake dekho kya kar raha hai. I mean, this is not something he should be doing. All we want is to practice bhakti, right? ये सब करने की क्या जरूरत है? Just see what he is doing." And once he got the benediction, like the kind of body that he actually regenerated after that is just beyond description. Very powerful and very nice body actually. Yeah. At the same time, Hiranyakashipu was also very learned. When Hiranyaksh was killed by Lord Vishnu, he went to console his nephews and the wife of Hiranyaksh actually. And at that time when he was talking, if you read in the 8th canto, of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, you will feel that he is actually speaking the Bhagavad Gita all over again. Such learned talks he was giving. Ravan was so learned that out of pride, once he actually went and he actually wanted to, bring Lord Shiva and Lord Parvati to Lanka, actually, right? When Lord Shiva denied that, okay, this Kailash is my abode, I cannot come to Lanka with you, he wanted to carry that Kailash Parvat. ठीक है, आप नहीं चलोगे, मैं पूरा Kailash Parvat उठा के ले चलता हूँ, like that. And what did Lord Shiva do? He just put his foot down, the toe of his foot down, and his hand was crushed. Ravan's hand was crushed, actually. And in that situation, he just came up with Shiv Tandav Stotra, right? And that Shiv Tandav Stotra is, such a brilliant writing that even today it is being recited by all the people. So these all were very learned people, okay? But just pride actually killed them, okay? They became puffed up. Why? Because that devotion was lacking in them, okay? So that is the reason why it's very important to actually give everything, offer everything to Krishna, whatever we do. Okay? So both were very powerful and learned personalities, and we have seen, okay, all the examples I just cited, but both met the same end. Okay? So in the 9th chapter, 27th and 28th verse, Krishna himself tells, whatever we have read so far, that all the yoga, it should be offered to Krishna, all the yagyas that we do should be offered to Krishna, all the knowledge that we acquire, it should be offered to Krishna, all the austerities that we do, it should be offered to Krishna, right? Krishna also says this, yad karoshi yad ashnashi yad juhoshi dadasi yad tapasyasi kaunteya tad kurushva madarpanam. Right? Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. क्यों? हफ्ता वसूली चल रहा है क्या यहाँ पे? Whatever you do, you just give it to me. ऐसा नहीं होता है ना? Right? Some people may ask that. Krishna, you are already Lakshmipati. यू आर वैकुंठपति, ऑल द वैकुंठा प्लैनेट्स आर अंडर यू. यहाँ थोड़ा सा मैं एंजॉय कर रहा हूँ वो भी आपको चाहिए. कुछ तो मेरे लिए छोड़ दो. राइट, दे मे से, पीपल मे से दैट, राइट. बट व्हाई इज कृष्णा आस्किंग दिस? डज ही वांट टू show this like strict disciplinarian attitude ki you have to be subdued and you have to be under me? No. The only point of meditation of Krishna is what can I do for this spirit soul so that he or she can come back to me. Right? This is what Krishna is meditating. And the next sloka he clarifies that very nicely. Okay? Shubha shubha phale raivam mokshase karma bandhane sannyasa yoga yuktatma vimukto mahu pashyasi. And the meaning of this sloka is, in this way you will be freed from the bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me in the principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and you will come back to me. Right? This is why Krishna is asking you to give each and everything that you do to him, offer that to him. Okay, and this is what we were discussing in these two slokas. Okay, so the lesson what we can learn from this sloka is that no matter what activity we are performing, okay, yajna, we are doing yagyas, we are doing yoga practices, we are acquiring knowledge, or we are doing some tapasya, okay, if they are not making me a devotee of Krishna, okay, if they are not making me Krishna conscious, then all these activities are simply a wastage of time and energy. Okay, shram eva hi kevalam. Correct? So on that note, I would like to pause here. I think we are just on time. Okay, so we have some time for question and answers. Any queries, any questions, I would like to take it now. I hope you all like the session. I try to put some nice pictures so that it's engaging. And yeah, any questions, any realizations, I'll be happy to take it now. Prabhuji, you can stop the YouTube live. Do we have time for that?